All right, and welcome back to the brand episode of Galaxy Film. I'm, of course, your host, Max. This week, I'm joined with legendary Nick Castle, who is, of course, from the Halloween series, and of much other films, such as, like, Escape from New York. We talked on the podcast before, too. But how are you doing, sir?
I'm great. Having a good time here in Raleigh. Haven't had a chance to look at the city, but the convention center looks nice.
Of course. Imagine you've been very busy here at GalaxyCon Raleigh this year.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a pleasure getting you on the show this week to talk with you. Thank you for taking the time out to speak with us.
Sure, no problem.
But just had a couple questions for you regarding your experience working with John Carpenter specifically.
Sure.
So first of all, I was curious, like, what was the difference between working on the first Halloween and then going to Escape to New York like, instead of returning for Halloween 2?
Well, let's see. One was, put on a mask and walk around.
Sure.
The other one was, let's work on the screenplay to make sure it works as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot more work on Escape, and much more satisfying in a certain way. The fact that I'm known now for that small little part in Halloween. 45 years later is pretty crazy.
It is, and I gotta say, like, I watched Halloween probably at an age where I was a bit too young for it. You absolutely terrified me for weeks on end as a kid.
That's what happens. You see a lot of people come up here at these cons and it's their first movie they ever saw, or the first time they ever got scared, and it really just stays with you.
It was freaky. I remember I watched on Halloween night one year, and then it was like a TV cut of it.
Yeah.
Next day, I'm walking to the bus to school. I'm having to get up at like 6 to go on the bus, and it was super foggy. November 1st, for whatever reason. I almost shit myself. It was terrifying. But yeah, you've definitely left such like a stamp on horror in film history, of course.
Yeah.
And I was curious to ask you too, because obviously you returned back for some of the newer Halloween films, 2018 and Halloween Kills. How was that, like, what did that feel like to you, being able to put the mask back on and come work on this new generation of Michael?
Well, it was just kind of, it was just so much fun, more than anything else. I mean, I just did some cameos in it, where I was in one or two scenes.
Sure.
And it was just fun to be there. Everyone on the crew was tickled to have me there. Everyone, it wasn't lost on people that this franchise has gone on for that long a time. A lot of fun. The director, David Gordon Green, was very talented. I got to know some of the folks on the crew and in the cast. So it's another kind of family to make. So had a great time.
That's beautiful. And I was curious as well because, unfortunately, I don't even want to say unfortunately, but you did not return for Halloween 2. You're busy working on Escape from New York, I assume, at the time. What are your thoughts on that film from a viewer standpoint?
Halloween 2?
Correct.
Solid picture. I don't think John ever expected there to be a second one.
Yeah.
400th one. And Dick Warlock took over the mantle, and he did a real nice job.
Absolutely. I love that scene at the very end, of course, where he's on fire and just collapses. It's beautiful.
I'm glad I didn't have to do that one.
That's awesome to hear. Well, thank you for taking the time out and speak with us for a bit. Let's talk about Halloween. I really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you guys.
Of course.
Good luck on your podcast.
Thank you so much. Correct. Yes. Of course.
Hi, Nick Castle.
Hello there.
First and foremost, I want to say I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
I mean, Halloween is a classic, one of the first horror movies I think we've all seen out there.
Yep.
And I guess my one question I have for you is kind of looking at being part of the Halloween, franchise, and then looking at Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which is an anthology. In your opinion, as a viewer, as an actor, a filmmaker, how do you feel that as part of the Halloween kind of universe?
How do I feel about Halloween 3?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. I think, they had a great idea to maybe make new movies, not necessarily with Michael Myers, but of course that the character became such an iconic character so quickly that people missed it. So unfortunately, Tommy Lee Wallace's movie, who is the director and writer of that picture, he didn't get the love that he should have got at the time. Now, however, people are looking back at it and say, oh, as a standalone movie, this is a damn good movie. So I'm happy for him because he's a good friend and a very talented guy, and he deserves it.
I love that. You heard it from Michael Myers himself. Halloween Season of the Witch 3 is a success.
Go see it.